Hey everybody, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I'm going to be playing Arkham Horror. I have played this game in the past. I haven't played it in a while, and I've been kind of missing it. So I decided to start over with the very first campaign, which was called Night of the Zealot. It comes with the core box. Now, I am not going to be playing with core investigators. I'm playing with Harvey Walters and Nathaniel Cho. They are accessory investigators that you can buy separately. I just like the way they play together. I am also, just for some notes, there are 4 difficulty levels for this game. There's easy, standard, hard, and expert. I typically play on standard or hard and very rarely win. They're not. You don't win at this game often. But instead, this game, I am going to start playing on easy, and I'll tell you why. The easy mode is recommended for when you want to experience the story that the campaign is telling. I mean, you can still lose the game, but you get further into the story. At least that's how I understand it. So the reason I tell you this is because you're going to see when I'm drawing tokens from the bag, some of the more difficult tokens like the -3 and -4 modifiers are not in here. Let's see, what else am I going to be doing? So I've already shuffled everything, set the game up. We start in the study. I've gone ahead and the 2 decks, Harvey's and Nathaniel's, I've shuffled them, drawn the cards. I did take a mulligan on Nathaniel's, which you can do that once per investigator at the start of the game if you don't like your hand that you're dealt. Harvey's I was fine with, Nathaniel's I was not. They each start with 5 resources. I've got the rest of the tokens up here. This is the encounter deck. This is the deck you don't like. There are no good cards in this deck. So the way this plays is it normally goes Mythos phase, followed by the investigator phase, followed by the enemy phase, followed by the upkeep phase, and then back to Mythos. But for your first turn or first round, you skip the Mythos phase, so you sort of get a little head start. So we're going to begin in the investigator phase. I will normally be playing Harvey first, then Nathaniel. So Harvey is going to go. On an investigator's turn, they can take 3 actions. Those include investigate, they include evade a monster, fight a monster, you can draw a card, you can get a resource, and the resources are used to pay for the cards that you want to play in the game. So the first thing you need to understand is there is an agenda and an act, and these 2 halves form a story that's being told. The agenda side, you don't want this moving forward. You want the act moving forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first agenda and the first act, and that sort of sets things up. The number 3 here indicates that 3 Doom tokens, and each Mythos phase you'll put a Doom token on the current agenda. When it hits 3, you flip it, you read the instructions, and you move on to the next agenda. Again, these are not good. You don't want to be flying through these. The act has a number of clues that need to be obtained in order to flip it and move on to the next one. In this case, it says 2 per investigator, so I will need 4 clues to get through this first act. So let me read the agenda to you. It is late at night. You are holed up in the professor's study, researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of strange chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning as if something were digging beneath the floors. And then the act, trapped. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. All right, so I need to investigate the study to get up to 4 clues, and this tells me that it has 4 clues on it, 2 per investigator. So those are 3. Sorry, let's put 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 4 clues. Now, this thing has a shroud of 2. That's the number you're trying to beat during an investigation. When you investigate, you use your research ability. Nathaniel has 2, which is just what it needs, and Harvey has a 5. So Harvey is going to investigate. To do this, I'm going to pit his 5 versus the 2, and I'm going to draw a token. Some of these tokens are +1, some of them are 0, some are -1. There's a -2 in there. And then there's some good and bad tokens that have modifiers based on conditions of the game. But before I investigate, I can look at my hand, and I see I've got some cards. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to play Higher Education. It costs 0 costs, but it does take an action. And now that I've got it out, it says when you have 5 or more cards in your hand, I can spend a resource to get +1 to either my Investigate or my Sanity. Well, I only have 4 cards, so that's not really going to help me. But what I can do, just to show you how this works, is I am going to, for my second turn, gain 2 resources to the end of your book. Okay, no, I'm not. I'm going to draw a card for my second action. So now I have 5, and then on my third and final action, I'm going to investigate. Because I have Higher Education, I can spend a resource to get +1. So I have 5. I'm going to spend this. Now I have 6 versus 2. I like those odds. Those are pretty good odds. And I drew the skull. Okay, that's one of the tokens that you have to look. This card tells you the easy and standard mods, and the flip side tells you the hard and the expert. On the easy side, it tells you that the skull will subtract a modifier based on how many ghouls are at your location. There are no ghouls, so this is in effect 0. So Harvey wins, and he gets a token to put on his thing, and that is his third. I put the token back in the bag, and I flip over his card to indicate his turn is over. Now it's Nathaniel's turn. Nathaniel has an investigate of 2. So if he goes up against the Shroud of 2, he can't pull a -1 or he would lose, or some of these other ones. But I like his odds, and you know what? I'm going to show you this. He has a flashlight. It costs 2 to play. So I'm going to pay 2 to play it, and it gets 3 tokens on it. Each token is like the battery life of the flashlight. Each token makes the Shroud -2 when you spend 1. I'm going to spend 1. This is as an action. So my second action is, my first action was I played the card. Second action is I spend a supply and I do an investigate. Well, he's now 2 versus 0 because I spent that thing. So shake these up and pull out a -2. So 2 minus 2 is 0, which still beats the Shroud. So I still get a clue token. And that is his third and final action. So you flip it over, and that is the end of the investigator phase. Now after this is the creature phase, but as you can see, there are no creatures. So then we move right to the upkeep stage. During the upkeep, you flip your characters back over to ready. This is the colored side versus the gray side. They each get a resource token, and they get to draw a card. So Nathaniel drew a first aid, and Henry draws Vault of Knowledge, which increases his hand size by 2. The maximum hand size is 8 for any investigator, so this would put him up to 10. All right, so that's the upkeep phase. Now it's the Mythos phase. During the Mythos phase, you place a Doom token on the current agenda. It's 3. I only have 1, so this does not advance yet. But then each investigator will draw a card from the encounter deck. These are not good. So Harvey went first. He draws a swarm of rats that engage with him. Nathaniel draws Crypt Chill. Now this is a treachery card where you have to do a test to pass it. It says he must test 4 sanity. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset, which is his flashlight. If you can't discard an asset, you would take 2 damage. So his sanity is 3. And he needs to beat a 4. So right away, he fails this if he doesn't pull a token. So he's got to pull a token out in order to beat it. Now he can contribute as many cards to boost this as have sanity symbols on the card. The first aid card has it, but I don't want to get rid of that. The Stand Together has one, and so does the Taunt. I'm going to spend the Stand Together. That goes into his discard pile, and that raises him from a 3 sanity to a 4. So he's going basically even, 4 versus 4. Now I could draw a -1, I could draw a -2. We will see. I drew the shrouded, the figure in a shrouded cloak, which automatically is a -1. So he loses, and it says if you fail, take 1 horror. So he takes a horror token. His sanity is 6. He now's down to 5. When he gets down to 0 sanity or 0 health, you lose the game. If you lose 1 investigator, the game's over. Now, he does have 9 health. He's pretty strong, but 6 sanity, he's already down to 5. But remember, he also lost the crypt chill, and it says if you fail, choose and discard an asset. So he immediately loses the flashlight. And then this goes into the discard pile for the encounter deck. All right, the rats stay out. Now it is the end of the Mythos phase, and now we are back to the heroes, the investigators. So for Harvey, I'm not going to worry about the rats. I'm going to have, on Nathaniel's turn, he's going to engage the rats as an action, which means I get to move the rats away from Harvey, who has a 1 fight. Nathaniel has 5. I don't want Harvey fighting unless he has to. So for the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to play... I'm going to play Vault of Knowledge for his first action for 3. So I have to spend 3 resources. And it says your maximum hand size is increased by 2. Then there's a quick action, a fast. After you successfully investigate, exhaust Vault of Knowledge and choose an investigator at your location. That investigator gets to draw a card, which Nathaniel would get to draw a card. I can also choose myself. It says choose an investigator, so I can do myself. And also, Harvey has a special ability on his card, which says after an investigator at your location draws 1 or more cards from their deck during the investigation phase, okay, that investigator gets to draw another card. So this Vault of Knowledge, if I investigate successfully, it triggers the Vault of Knowledge, which allows me to draw a card, and then because I drew a card during an investigation phase, I get to draw another card. So that's a really cool way to get Harvey's card limit up. So right now, my hand limit is 2. His first action was to play Vault of Knowledge. His second action is, I only have 3. I don't know where that came from. I only have 2 resources, so I cannot pay for that. For his second action, I will play Cryptic Writings. That goes into his exhaust pile. And it says you draw 2 resources. So I draw 2. So he's got 4 now. Finally, for his third and final action, I will... Do I want to investigate? I probably do. Until the end of your turn. Okay, Forbidden Tome. I'm going to go ahead and get an asset, an ally out. Witten Green. She is a hunter of rare books. While I have a tome out, I get +1 research. I don't currently have a tome out, so that's not going to matter. But I will pay the 4, and that is the end of his turn. All right, Nathaniel's turn. He is going to invest. Well, you know what? I'm going to pay 3 to get out his weapon. He has a Colt with 6 ammo, so I'm going to put 6 bullets on it. And each bullet adds 1 damage. Normally when you hit a target, you do 1 damage. But if I use a bullet, I get to add +1 damage to make it 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bullets. That's his first action. Second action is going to be to pull the rats. He engages the rats. And then my third and final action will be to fight the rats. Now, my fight is 5. The rat's fight is 1. So I feel pretty good about this, unless I draw the auto-fail token, and there is an auto-fail token. I got the Elder Sign, which is good. Elder Sign gives +1, so he effectively has 6. And I didn't want to use a bullet because I didn't need it. They're only 1 health. And if this skill test is successful, return an event from your discard pile to your hand. Well, the only event I have is Stand Together, so I can get to put that in my hand. The rats are defeated. This goes back in, and that was his second. First action was to play the Colt. No, that was his third action. Second action was to engage it. Third action was to fight the rats. So his turn is done. There are no creatures. Creature phase ends. Upkeep. Flip these over. Ready any cards. I don't have any cards used, and then they each get a resource. And they get to draw a card. I got Gret Wagner. She's an ally, which is a very good ally to have. And Harvey draws Burning the midnight oil. When you do an investigate, when the action begins, you gain 2 resources. So that's a good card. All right. It is now the Mythos phase. I put a token. There's 2 now. Harvey went first, so he'll draw a card. He got Grasping Hands. Test 3 agility. His agility is 2, so he would fail it. But he can... Oh, I'm going to play Mind Over Matter. It costs 1, and it says, until the end of the round, you may use your investigate in place of fight or agility. So his agility is 2, but now it's 5. 5 versus 3. So that's what I'm going for here. 5 versus 3. And I drew a -1. So 4 beats 3, so this goes away. Nathaniel draws a card, and he got Ancient Evils. Place 1 Doom token on the agenda. Well, this third agenda actually causes this to flip. So let's go ahead and do that. So you flip the card and you read it. Your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed, and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt. It is almost as if you have been transported somewhere else entirely, although every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. The lead investigator must decide. Choose one. Either each investigator discards 1 card at random, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. I will choose Harvey to take 2 horror. I do not want to lose a card right now. So I'll give him 2 horror. He has 8 sanity, so he's okay for now. And then you read the next agenda. The floor beneath you is giving way, and you see a vast network of tunnels twisting into the darkness below. Shapes and silhouettes of strange creatures move swiftly through the tunnels, trying to find a way up. You probably don't want to be here when they do. It has a 7, so it takes 7 Doom tokens to flip that. And that is the end of the Mythos phase. So once again, we're back to Harvey. This goes into his discard pile. All right, let's see. I need to get a tome out. He spent his token. So for his first action, he will gain a resource. For his second action, he's going to play Tome, Forbidden Tome, and it says it uses 5 secrets. So I put 5 uses on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And his third and final action is going to be to do a investigate. He is 5, but he gets the +1 from the ally because I do have a tome in play. So he's now at 6. I could spend a resource if I had any to bump it up even higher, but 6 versus 2 is pretty good. And I got the skull, which is minus the number of ghouls. There are no ghouls, so I beat it, and I get another token. Oh, that's what that was. I knew there was a clue token on him for a reason. So they now have 3 total clue tokens. There's 1 left, and that is the end of Harvey's turn. I need Nathaniel to get that token so I can get out of the study before whatever it is happens here. So to do that, I'm going to do an investigate. Now, he's 2 investigate versus a 2 shroud, but I can play something. I could play... I don't have any investigate. Henry can help. Henry can... You know what? I don't need it. I've got 3 chances here. First action, I'm going to investigate. So it's just a straight up 2 versus 2. And I got a -1, so he fails. Second action, I'm going to do it again. 2v2. And I got the skull, which is -0, so he gets the last one. They are in the hallway. So now that I have the 4 tokens, I can cash them in immediately and forward the act. You notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture aside and pull back the rug. To your surprise, you see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob and the door swings open, revealing your hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rotten decay. Now this says to put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor locations. Discard each enemy in the study, remove the study, and place each investigator in the hallway. So the hallway will go here. They're in the hallway. And I put the attic up top, the cellar down below, and the parlor to the side. All right, there we go. Okay, they are, and then this goes away, and I read the next act. The barrier. A glowing barrier blocks the path to the parlor. As you move towards it, intense heat forces you to back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or attic that could help. Objective. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues. It's going to take 6 clues, 3 per investigator, to advance this. So they need 6 in all, and I reveal the hallway. The hallway has a shroud of 1 but no clues, so there's no reason to investigate here right now. I can't get into the parlor, and so Henry still has 1 more turn. He has 2 assets. Okay. Fast blazer. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and for his third action, I will play choose another investigator at your location. Both you and that investigator gain 2 resources. So everybody gets 2, and that is the end of Nathaniel's turn. It is now the creature phase. No creatures. Upkeep phase. Flip these cards. They each draw another resource, and they draw a card. Nathaniel got a treachery, a weakness card. Revelation. Put self-destructive into play. Forced. When you deal 1 or more damage to an enemy, you also take 1 damage. However, I can discard this by sacrificing 2 actions. So this stays with me. Harvey draws field work. All right. That is the end of the upkeep phase. Now we place a doom token, and Harvey will draw a card. He draws Swarm of Rats. Nathaniel draws Rotting Remains. Tests 3 sanity. Nathaniel has 3 sanity. He will play... I'll just take it. So for each point you fail, take a horror. Okay. So I'm doing 3 versus 3. And I'll just try my luck here. The skull is -0. There are no ghouls. So he passed it. So this goes away. And that is the end of the... oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That was Nathaniel. Sorry, I drew... Yeah, Nathaniel's. So now it is Harvey's turn. Harvey will move to the attic. That's 1 action, which reveals the attic. It has 4 clues on it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, it takes 6 to advance this, so these 4 are not going to be enough. And it says forced. After you enter the attic, take a horror. So he takes another horror. Ooh. All right. So first action. His next action is he's going to do an investigate. You know what? Hold on. Field work. After you move to a location, if that location has at least 1 clue on it, exhaust field work. You get +2 skill for the next skill test you perform this phase. And I'm not worried about that right now. His investigate is 6 versus a shroud of 1. Other than the auto fail, there's not much that can happen to cause me to fail it. 6-0 means I get a clue. All right, that's good. And for his third and final action, he'll do it again. 6 versus 1. And I got +1, so he got 2 clues that turn. It is now Nathaniel's turn. Nathaniel will move. He will engage the rats, second action. And for his third action, he will fight the rats. So he will do, his fight is 5 versus the rats 1. And I got the -0, so he kills the rats. And so he moved, he engaged, and he fought. So that is the end of his turn. Let's see. No creatures. It is time to do the upkeep. So these flip over. They each get a resource. And they get a card. He draws Glory. Play after you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. Henry gets Feed the Mind. Exhaust feed the mind, spend 1 secret test. Each for point C, draw a card. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. It is now Henry's turn. So I haven't been doing Vault of Knowledge. I just did it. I investigated. So I'll use Vault of Knowledge as a free action. After you successfully investigate, exhaust it, and choose an investigator at your location, that investigator draws a card. Henry will draw a card. He got deduction, and his special ability says after an investigator at your location draws one or more cards during the investigation phase, that investigator draw a card. So I get to draw another one. So building my cards up. All right, for his first action, he investigated. Second action, this was a free action. Oh, look, Witten has a free action. After you reveal a location, which he did, search the top 6 cards for a tome or relic and draw it. Shuffle your deck. You know what? I'm not going to use that right now because I don't want to. I'll use that later. Right now, I don't need any tomes or relics. So his second action will be to exhaust Forbidden Tome and spend a resource. Then, if you have 10 or more cards and there are no secrets, you may discard it to record. Okay, so otherwise you get to draw a card. So he gets to draw another card. Lab Assistant. All right, so that was his second action. For his third and final action, he will... Do I want to... Yeah, I might as well. I'll investigate again. So he's doing 6 versus 1. And I got the -1, so he passes and he gets that one. All right, that was good. So he is done. Nathaniel's action. Nathaniel will play Gret Wagner for 5. As 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he spends 5 resources. She gives him +1 fight, and after you defeat an enemy, you can exhaust her, put a damage on her, and get 1 clue at your location. So unfortunately, he can't use that right now because there's no enemies. So what he's going to do is he's going to do an investigate for his second action. He's doing 2 versus 1, and I will do, let's see, I'll do that. +1, so he gets it. He gets the last clue. So they are done in the attic. And that was his... Let's see, first action was he played this. Second action was he investigated. Third action is he's got 1 resource, so he'll play... Well, that's an event. Okay, he will draw a card. And he got Monster Slayer. This attack deals +1 damage. Okay. That's his last action. Let's see. It is now creature phase. No creatures. Upkeep. Flip these over. And they ready all their used cards. Okay. And they get each a resource. And they get to draw a card. Nathaniel draws Guard Dog. I want that Guard Dog. And Harvey draws Deduction. All right. That's the end of the upkeep phase. Mythos token goes on. Harvey draws a card. Crypt Chill tests 4 insanity. His sanity is 4. So 4 versus 4. If you fail, you discard an asset. I really don't want to fail this. So let's see what I got here. I have nothing that will benefit his sanity. Although I can spend resources. Yes, I can. So I have higher education. I have more than 5 cards. Spend 1 resource to get +1 sanity. His sanity is 4. I need to beat 4, so I'll spend 2 resources to make it 6. I'm doing 6 versus 4. And I drew -2, so I beat it. Or I tied it, so still win. Nathaniel draws Flesh Eater. Ooh. Spawns in the attic, which is where they happen to be, and it will attack him, but it'll just follow him wherever he goes, so that's okay. Here's what I'm going to do. It is now the investigator phase. So Harvey is going to go move. That's 2 actions, which flips this. After you enter a cell or take a damage. So he takes a point of damage. Okay. And it has 4 clues on it. And it's a shroud of 4. Okay. Now, Nathaniel could, if he moves twice, he's only going to get 1 attack. I need 2 attacks, so he'll stay. He's going to stay for now. First attack, he will use a bullet to make it +1 damage. He is going 5 fight, 6 fight versus 4. I can improve that by playing this. No. What do I want to play? Play after you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. That won't help. Oh yeah, here we go. Monster Slayer. It's during a fight, it deals +1 damage, so I can do 3 damage with just 1 hit, and it gives me +1. So he's 5, 6, 7 versus 4. And I got -1, so I did 3 damage to it. So for his second action, he doesn't need to spend a bullet, because if he wins, he just does 1 damage, which is all its health. It's only got 1 more health left. This goes away. So he is now at 5, 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. Is there anything I can do? Nothing that Harvey can do. So it's 6 versus 4. And I got the number of ghouls in your location, which is, that's not a ghoul. It's a flesh eater. It would say, oh no, it is a ghoul. So 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 still beats 4. So I defeat the ghoul. It's worth 1 victory point, so I will keep that. Victory points can be used to buy higher value cards at the end of the game. The attic was also fully investigated. It's worth victory 1. He will leave the attic for his third and final action. The attic comes over here for the victory condition. And that is the end of Nathaniel's turn. It is now creature phase, no creatures. Upkeep, they flip. They each get a resource. And they each get a card. He got Randall Cho, Concerned Brother, which is an ally. After he enters play, heal 3 damage. Ooh, that would be good. 3 damage or Nathaniel Cho. So it only heals Nathaniel. It doesn't heal Harvey. That's not good. Okay, and then Harvey draws Preposterous Sketches. Play only if there's a clue at your location. Draw 3 cards. Yeah, there are clues. All right, so now it is the Mythos phase. Put a token. It's the 3 on there out of 7. Harvey draws a card. He gets Ancient Evils. Place a Doom token. Ugh, another Doom. Nathaniel draws Swarm of Rats in the hallway. Remember, the rats will follow him if he moves, so that's okay. All right, Harvey will go. Harvey is going to investigate. Now, he has deduction, which says if you succeeded in investigation, you get an extra clue. So I will play that. He is... Why are there... I thought there were 4 clues. Oh, there is 3. I got the 3 on here. Let's put 4 little tokens on there. Sorry. I was like, all right, now there are 4 tokens. All right, so he will go 5, 6, and this gives him 7. 7 versus 4. 7 versus 4. And I drew this, which is minus number of ghouls, 0. So he gets a token plus an extra because of the deduction. That goes into here. That was his first action. What can he do? Oh, he's got another deduction card. I'm going to do it to gain the other 2. So he'll play it again. Once again, it's 7 versus 4. And I got -2, which is 5. So he gets the remaining 2. And by the way, I haven't been doing this. So Vault of Knowledge, after you successfully investigate and choose an investigator, draw a card. So I get to draw a card. And remember, his special ability says, after an investigation at your location, draw another card if you drew one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 cards in my hand, but remember, the vault gives me a +2 hand size, so I can draw that extra card, and I got a flashlight. All right, so they have all of the clues they need to advance the act, but they got to get back to the hallway, which is good because now Nathaniel doesn't have to come in there. So for his third and final action, that was 2. Oh, and Witten says after you reveal a location or put in it, I'm not going to do that again. I keep forgetting to do that, but that's okay. For his third and final, he will move back to the hallway, and I discard that. So he is exhausted. He's tired. Nathaniel needs to beat the rats. So let's go ahead and do that. They only have 1 health. He has a 5 + 1. He has 6 versus their 1. I like those odds. I just don't want to pull the auto fail. 6 or 7 minus 2. Yeah, he does it. So he defeats the swarm of rats for his first action. Now, they can... It says, when the round ends, investigators may, as a group... Okay, so I can't do it just yet. It has to be at the end of the round. So he can get 2 more actions in. What would he want to do? His hand size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll get... he's going to get guard dog out for 3. Now I have 2 allies that can take damage for him. And he's got 1 more action. He's got no resources. So the only thing he can do is, I'm going to have him draw a card. He got Flesh Ward. Okay. All right. He's not doing 2 shadow. Oh, I keep forgetting he's got the self-destruct. When you deal 1 or more damage to an enemy, take a damage. So he's taken some damage. That came in when he had the previous ghoul. Was it ghoul? He did, when you deal 1 or more damage to an enemy, take it. So he's taken 3 damage. Because he fought the ghoul twice and he fought the rats once. So he takes 3 damage. Ugh. All right, and that is his... So his final action was to draw this. So instead, what I'm going to do is put that back down. And I'm going to play... Well, I can't. Can't play first aid. I need to heal. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw a resource instead of a card. Okay, that is the end of his turn. Now it is enemy phase. There are no enemies. Upkeep phase. You flip these over. Reset any cards. They each get a card. He gets Flesh Ward. He gets a Fragment Tome. And they each get a resource. Now it's the end of the round. They cash in the 6 clue tokens to advance this. Using the barrel from the attic... You carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The cellar is now in the victory condition. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice and hisses and fades. The barrier blocking the passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal it. It has a shroud of 2 and no clue tokens. Put aside the Lita. All right, there's a woman in here named Lita Chantler. Spawn the ghoul priest in the hallway. All right, ghoul priest will go here. It targets the highest fight, so it's going to target Nathaniel, excuse me. Then, what have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams, furious. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. If the ghoul priest is defeated, advance this card. All right. So the ghoul priest has 10 health, 4 fight. Ooh. All right, we can do this. It is now. I advanced. It's now the Mythos phase. So I put a token on here. There are now 5. Henry draws a card. Harvey. I keep calling him Henry. Dissonant voices. Put it into play. You cannot play assets or events. Forced. At the end of the round, you may discard it. So he's basically, on his turn, he cannot play assets or events. Ooh. All right. And Nathaniel draws Ghoul Minion. He's got 2 ghouls on him. Ugh, okay. All right. It is now my turn. Well, Henry Harvey is going to leave the hallway. Well, no, I guess he can stay because he might need to assist. Actually, no. Hold on. He's going to move to the parlor. 1 action. He's going to parlay with her. He needs to test knowledge 4 or research 4. If he succeeds, he takes control of her like an ally. So yeah, he'll go 5. It says you cannot play assets, but I've got them in action, so can't play them from my hand. 5, 6, and 6 versus 4. I'll pay a resource to make it 7 versus 4. And I got -2, so he gets her. So she is in control. I have to let go. No, I don't. I only got 1 ally. So you can have 2 allies. I've got the second ally. She gives +1 to every investigator in her location. So he will move back on his 3rd. Now he's going to get that +1 fight. When an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster, that investigator deals +1 damage. All right, here we go. He's used up. Nathaniel is going to kill the Ghoul Minion. The Ghoul Minion is 2 fight. He is 5, 6, 7 because of Lita. 7 versus 2. I'm trying to kill just the Ghoul Minion. 7 versus 2. And I got the Tombstone, which is -2. If there is a ghoul at your enemy, take 1 damage. So I do take a damage. Great. And I get 7 minus 2 is 5, so I do defeat it because I do the 1 extra damage that Alita gives me. So this one is gone. So for his second action, he needs to deal with the Ghoul Priest. He will use a bullet. He gets +1 damage, so he's going to do 1 plus Lita's 2. You get +1 fight. All right, so 5, 6, 7 versus 4. 7 versus 4. Do I have any cards that'll help add damage? No, I do not. 7 versus 4. I got the Elder Sign, which adds +1, so it's 8 versus 4. If it's successful, return an event from your discard to your hand. So I just did 3 damage to this guy. I did the normal 1 damage, the Alita bonus damage, and then the bullet bonus damage for a total of 3. So he's got 3 out of 10 gone. And for his third and final action, he's going to do it again. 7 versus 4. And I drew the skull, which is minus the number of ghouls, 1. So he still beats it and does 3 more points. So 6 out of 10. All right, that is all Nathaniel can do. It is now the creature phase. He will attack Nathaniel. He does 2 damage, 3, 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, so he takes another 3. He's got 6 damage. He's only got 9 health, so I got to be careful. And he takes 2 sanity. 1, 2. So he's at half sanity, and this is not good. All right, so that is the creature phase. Upkeep phase. Flip these over. Draw a card. He gets 1-2 punch. Does he have 8 cards? No. And Harvey gets preposterous sketches, which he may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's got to discard a card. I will get rid of field work. Can't use it because all the clues are already obtained. All right, let's see. It is now the Mythos phase. Place a token. 6. Takes 7. And then I draw a card for Harvey. He gets a Ravenous Ghoul attached to him. Oh, and by the way, this went away because it was the end of the round. And Nathaniel draws another Ghoul Minion. All right. Okay, so now Harvey is in trouble. But that's okay. All I've got to do is to beat the ghoul priest. It is now my turn. Harvey will... he's not good at fighting, but you know what? I have an ability here, I think. I'm going to play this card. Automatically evade that enemy or deal it 2 damage. This was an asset. When I'm not... Oh, you know what? It's too late. I can't do that. Okay, so... Okay, what can I do? There is not a whole lot. I'm looking to see if I have a card that'll let me evade him. Exhaust the mind. Okay, no. Here we go. Nope. Nope. Nothing to help me fight. Anything to help me evade? Nothing. Nothing. Golly. Okay. Well, looks like he's going to have to fight him. So I will fight 3 times. He will fight. He's 1 fight versus 3. But you know what? Nathaniel can contribute 1 card. He will contribute Relentless to make it 2 versus 3. So I'm hoping for a +1. And I got the -1, so he fails. Second action, he fights. And this one is just 1 versus... well, Nathaniel can discard another card. I'll play that to give him a 2 versus 3. And I got the -2, so he fails. And he doesn't have retaliate, so he doesn't do damage back to me. And then finally, Nathaniel will do Randall Cho to give him +1 for his third. 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3 fails, so he failed all 3. His turn is over. Now Nathaniel is going to spend a bullet. Actually, you know what? First action, he's going to engage the Ravenous Ghoul. Get it away from Harvey. Next, he is going to pay a bullet to try and fight the Ravenous Ghoul. He is 5, 6, 7 versus 3. I got -2, so he succeeds. He does 1, 2, 3 damage. That kills the ghoul. So for his third and final action, he will spend a bullet. He's going to play an event. He pays the 2 to play 1-2 punch. I love this card. You get +1 for the attack. If it succeeds, you get another attack for 2 fight and an additional point of damage, which will knock him out. All right, so here it is. 5, 6, 7 with Alita, 7, and yeah, he's taking damage too, by the way. He just took some damage for fighting that thing. So he's at 6, 7. He's going to take damage here, but that's okay. It's 7 versus 4. This is -2, which is 5 versus 4, which I did, so that does 3 damage. 3 damage to him, and it does a damage to me. I am now at... That's 3. Now I am now at 3, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 8. But if I defeat him... This is good. Okay. Oh, you know what? I can use my guard dog to take the damage. He won't kill me. I will... I can't do any more damage to him. So this is how it's going to play out. My turn is going to end. I'm going to draw a card. So I got counter punch. Play after an enemy attacks you. This attack targets the attacking enemy. Okay, well, I'm going to play that in just a second, but here's how it's going to play out. It's now the enemy phase. The ghoul priest is going to attack me for 2 and 2, but you know what? I'm going to have Greta take all of that damage, and it kills her, takes her sanity down. So she is out. So he did. Then this other ghoul minion is going to attack me for 1, but my guard dog will take it and dies, and it says it does 1 damage back. So the ghoul minion takes 1 damage. That is the end of the creature phase. It is now the upkeep phase. Everybody readies? Everybody draws a card. Oh, I got Tommy Malloy, great. And he got his put obsession. Discard 1 non-weakness from your hand. Okay. So I have to just pick a random one. I'll draw that one. I drew. Okay, that's fine. So now Harvey draws a card. Actually, no. Put a Doom token on. That's 7. So this flips over. Shuffle the encounter deck. Discard until a ghoul has appeared. The lead investigator draws it. All right, so what you do is you take all these cards. You shuffle them here. And then you start drawing until you get a ghoul. And that ghoul will attach to Harvey. All right, that's fine. I can do that. So there it is, a ravenous ghoul. But this is good. It is now Nathaniel's turn. He drew Crypt Chill. Test 3, 4 sanity. He has, what is his sanity? His sanity is 3. I failed it. So he will lose an asset. Is that what it said? Yeah, lose an asset. You know what? I'll lose the only thing I can do is the Colt. I lose my gun. That's not good. All right, but I got this. It is now my turn. Harvey will spend this 2 actions to get rid of this. And then he's just going to evade. He'll evade. Or he'll attempt to invade. His evade is 2 versus 3. I got 0, so he does not evade, and that's the end of his turn. So on the creature phase, he'll take 1 point of damage. Nathaniel's turn. Here's how it's going to play out. The first 2 actions I take, I'm going to discard this, so I no longer have to worry about it. Now he's going to fight him. He's got 1 health left. 1 health. That 1 health is, he's got 5 fight, and he's got 6 with Alita, and he'll contribute, so he's just got 6. 6 versus 4. Oh, no, wait, Henry can help. Harvey can help. Does he have any wilds? He doesn't have any fights. He has nothing to contribute. Nothing. So it's 6 versus 4. And I got the tombstone, which is -2, which knocks it down to 4, which still deals the damage, defeats him. I take 1 damage. 6, 7, 8. And I will have 9 damage. But before I died, I killed the ghoul priest. And it says as soon as you defeat the ghoul priest, advance. When the creature falls, the fiendish swarm burrows back into the ground, so the ghoul minion will flee. You broke my seal, blah, blah, blah. Now we must make the lead investigator decides, this woman wants us to burn the house down, or I say, no way. Well, we will burn it down. So we read R1, which is the resolution number 1. You nod and allow the red-haired woman to set the walls and floor of your house ablaze. The fire spreads quickly, and you run out the front door to avoid being caught in the inferno. From the sidewalk, you watch as everything you own is consumed by the flames. Come with me, the woman says. You must be told the threat that lurks below. Alone we are surely doomed, but together we can stop it. In your campaign log, refer to the house as burned to the ground. Lead investigator earns the Lead Chantler card. Okay, it does not count towards your deck size. Lead investigator suffers 1 mental trauma, which means his mental goes from 8, or his sanity goes from 8 down to 7 from this point forward. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory value of each card. Now, here's how I'm going to play this. Even though Nathaniel was reached 0 health, I believe in the next game he just starts 1. He's taken not a sanity. It's a loss of 1 health, so he'll start at 8 health versus 9. Blah, that is a crazy game. I had forgotten how wild this game can be. All right, that's all I got for now. I will be back with scenario. There's 3 games in this scenario, the Night of the Zealot. This was the first one. I'll be back very soon with the second one. Until then, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me. Everybody, take care.